warning signs may vary, but the devastating effects are the same. And unfortunately, you need to be prepared for the worst. If you were ever to find yourself in the middle of an active shooter event, your survival may depend on whether or not you have a plan. The plan doesn't have to be complicated. There are 3 things you could do that make a difference. Run, hide, fight. First and foremost, if you can get out, do. Always try and escape or evacuate, even when others insist on staying. Encourage others to leave with you, but don't let them slow you down with indecision. Remember what's important, you, not your stuff. Leave your belongings behind and try to find a way to get out safely. Trying to get yourself out of harm's way needs to be your #1 priority. Once you are out of the line of fire, try to prevent others from walking into the danger zone and call 911. If you can't get out safely, you need to find a place to hide. Act quickly and quietly. Try to secure your hiding place the best you can. Turn out lights, and if possible, remember to lock doors. Silence your ringer and vibration mode on your cell phone. And if you can't find a safe room or closet, try to conceal yourself behind large objects that may protect you. Do your best to remain quiet and calm. As a last resort, if your life is at risk, whether you are alone or working together as a group, fight. Act with aggression. Improvise weapons. Disarm him. And commit to taking the shooter down, no matter what. Try to be aware of your environment. Always have an exit plan. Know that in
What is got crashed into a... Okay.
Hello, good evening. My name is Toyin Morafa and you're watching The Voice of the Voiceless. Tonight is a very special episode because I've got two distinguished gentlemen with me. Tomorrow morning they'll be doing an event called the 1,000 Black Men, and that's the reason why we're here. And I think this is very important because anybody who knows me has always known that this platform is for people that should be helping and mentoring our youth. You know, the reason why this show was created is to showcase and celebrate the people that are ready to go out of their way and help our youth. Without further ado, I'll leave these two gentlemen to introduce themselves first, then we can go from there. So, gentlemen.
Hi there. So my name's Ademola Adeyeba. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Get Hench, and we take self-development and transformative learning to schools for young people, and a key part of the 1,000 Black Boys team.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name's Toyin Morafa. I'm a project manager, and before that, I worked in higher education. And I worked 10 years with teenagers in my church, and we're really bringing 1,000 Black Boys together to empower young Black boys in London, and it's going to be in Croydon tomorrow at 11:30 at VR Limitless. So we're just going to kind of bring them together, workshops, and just empower them all across.
Absolutely amazing. I mean, give hands to you guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, because like I've always said, one thing I've always resented is how the mainstream media portrays the society, who we are and what we do. So it comes across negative sometimes, like we don't do anything to help these youths, you know, that are involved in all this gang violence that we're having now. So before we can say any more, I just want you to talk about, you know, what led you into this vision you had. What led you into it? What made you decide to do this? And
sure.
The history between you guys as well.
Sure. I mean, so best I can put it is God gave me the vision. Like I've got like a real passion for inspiring people, and one of the areas I've got to focus on is young Black boys and young Black men. So with my company, we do go to schools, we go to youth organizations, and I often go to schools and I ask them, give me your toughest pupils, like your most challenging Black boys. Let me do a session with them. And they've been the sharpest and probably the most intelligent people I've actually done sessions with. And for me, it probably was like 2017. I was leaving work, going home on the Victoria line, and I was reading the Evening Standard, and I saw the face of this young Black boy in his school uniform, and he'd been killed. I think it was about 16 or something at the time. And like I said, for me, there was like a big sense of responsibility. And if I'm being really honest, I just felt God say to me, look, listen, Ade, what are you going to do about this?
Right.
Like, what are you going to do about this?
Right.
And I always to say to me, if Apostle Paul was around today, what difference would he make?
Right.
And I've always said that being a Christian is not this religious thing that's kept in church on Sundays.
Absolutely.
It's about the difference that we make out there in the world. And the vision really came from then. And last year there were 132 murders in London, according to the BBC. 21 of those murders were teenagers, and 15 of those teenagers were Black boys.
Wow.
That's 71%, and most likely also killed by other young Black boys. And it was just, if we don't do anything about that, that's going to increase. There's already 27 murders this year in London.
That's true.
And then, like you were saying, you know, there's going to be more regulation from the police and from law enforcement. Stop and search is going to increase. And I also think, most likely, down the line, it'll be a case of giving the police the powers to carry guns in certain areas.
Right.
So if I'm kind of playing that down the line.
Right.
And it's not going to be in Chelsea, it's not going to be in Hampstead. My assertion is going to probably be in like Hackney, Tottenham, Peckham, West Croydon, those places. Yeah.
Right.
But the thing as well is, if these young Black men and Black boys can get their potential and they can be really clear on what they're about, that my passion is science, I want to be in music, or I'm into art, I want to be an artist, or I do want to start my own business. I don't want to do this, I want to do that. Or actually, I want to go into engineering. It might not be that, it could be something completely different. But whatever their passion is, they get a chance to go and do that,
And right.
and then the story changes.
Right.
And then the Evening Standard is now talking about this boy they used to be in a gang in Hackney against the guy they used to be in a gang against from Tottenham.
Right.
They've set up a new business.
Right.
And this business is now making lots of revenue. And there's interest from like Google and from Facebook in what they're developing.
What they're doing, yeah.
That's the news that we could be reading.
All right. Positive vibes.
Yeah, I'd say definitely that. And also, our vision isn't to, might sound counterintuitive, it's not to attack and go against knife crime. Because the more you focus and you go against something, the more it persists.
That's true.
So it's really about dealing with the cause of it, and the cause of it is not knowing purpose.
All right.
So once that's really clear, so imagine once the energy is into starting businesses and starting social enterprises, or wants to climb Kilimanjaro or go to the Everest, wherever it is, then the byproduct, knife crime, disappears.
Yeah, one important thing that we have to also pay into attention is that we do have a lot of black boys that are doing very well.
Yeah, totally.
Are doing great in college, listen to their parents, go to university, get great jobs. So we want to also cater for those black boys as well, at that level where they're not isolated, they're facing the same pressures as everybody else, but we want to create workshops that cater to them, create that environment where they can meet other people and just discuss issues that they face. So we talked about stop and search. No matter who you are, good or bad, if you're a good boy and you get stop and search, it has a negative impact on you.
Absolutely.
So we want to create that environment where even in the future we could be working with young boys, having sports events, media events, like you said, developing skill sets that will be useful for them even before they go.
Should be sending out there. I wanted to actually, there was something you said to me that I just wanted to throw out there for a bit. You were talking about being a young people's counsellor for like 10 years.
Yes,
now, judging by what's happening now and the vision you guys are creating, how do you think that we can actually reach out to these guys? How do you think we can actually make them see themselves as positive models for other people rather than carrying out this negative stereotype?
I think one thing I did see as a counsellor for 10 years, it was like we had different set of boys, and even you could see the transformative work that happened to them within church from the beginning. And now most of these people that I worked with are parents with kids, actually giving back to society positively. So I think part of 1,000 Black Boys is to partner a lot with black men that are doing great things, mentors, people, so that we can create.
I'd always want people to look at what they can do and look at their strengths to build them up. And just that, I was always of the mindset that regardless of what happens to you, you can always choose how you respond.
That's true.
You can choose how you
deal
go
with
to
it.
next.
That's
So that was there, and then there was this clothing brand. So gradually, as I did, because I've done lots of stuff on self-development myself, and it became really clear for me that it's all the same thing. It's all the same vision. So as a statement for Get Hedge is that people are unleashed into their greatness and become purpose. That's the purpose, or that's the vision.
That's the vision.
And our slogan is "Be Your Awesome." And I thought, okay, so that's the vision. Then just restructure the business. That the first step towards that vision is taking self-development and transformative learning to schools for young people and to youth organisations. We also do it for athletes and for business people, but it's really young people the key part of it. And then the second level is fitness services, and then the third level is the fashion brand that you mentioned. But ultimately, the first way in is literally like God's greatest creations are people. Regardless of things. It's
true.
people.
That's true.
And if He's given me a talent, it ought really be for people.
That's true, because like they say, the most talented people, they're in the graveyard. So if you do, it's true, most of them are dead. They've taken it to the graves, they're not using it. And that's part of the impact that we're having now. If you've got any talent out there, please do not underestimate yourself. We need all the talents we can get.
Especially when you talk about talents. I'll use an example. I think 2 years ago, as we have now, we had young black boys dying, and even in Standard, and I think one on their page 3 they had 2 pastors that were doing work with young people and things like that. I reached out to both of them, and one of them was actually working with a youth of guys who were in gangs and now in music, and they were now using that skills to kind of be positive around that. And I reached out and I said, is there anything I could do? And we came back to say, okay, you can do a presentation on branding, which I actually went with them because they were looking for funding, they were looking to...
Sorry to call you. When you said presentation in branding, can you like elaborate a bit further?
All right. So I think, like Ade said, in terms of self-development, I'd kind of gone onto some courses like Key Person of Influence, where you kind of got your brand, where you'd be able to do elevator pitches, where you'd be able to sell your strengths. So those were the kind of things that I mean when in terms of branding. So I kind of did a presentation. I think the example we gave was if you had one opportunity to speak to Puff Daddy or Jay-Z, how would you kind of put your pitch together? So we did those kind of exercises, and we also kind of looked at the whole brand as a whole, and they found it really useful, and it was a positive feedback. And I think that was something that I did by myself individually, but now a group of us are coming together to even have a bigger impact and a bigger perspective with a bigger vision. So it just goes back to saying about whatever skills. We have skills that we have developed from work, we have skills that we have from our businesses or things that we enjoy doing. So any of these skills can be used to empower the younger generation who are coming up, and just to challenge them or even motivate and talk to them on a one-to-one basis.
And just really quickly as well, something you mentioned about the cemetery, because it might sound funny, but I often, because I work in Chelsea, and I often go to West Brompton Cemetery on my lunch break, just go for a walk. Like, it's a nice cemetery, very, very picturesque. The thing is, like, dead.
Exactly.
And just, so whenever I maybe get a bit distracted or get slightly overwhelmed, just going for a walk there literally gets me grounded. And just gets me present to the joy that life is. And I read the tombstones. It might just be in this tombstone or in this tomb. There's the entire family. And just seeing that makes me think, right, so I'm still here. I'm still breathing.
That's true.
And then for me, it's a case of people normally wait. They're waiting for tomorrow, or they're waiting for next month, or things will be better next month,
or something comes up.
Next year. Next year things are better next year. Don't wait.
That's true.
Like, don't wait. Like, time is actually an illusion. Like, tomorrow does not exist. Like, it's not here.
It's not here. That's true.
So people get into this sense of going now, and even with us going with 1,000 Black Boys. So literally, we didn't have a venue to host it about 2.5 weeks ago. But the vision was, we didn't have a venue. But the vision was so clear. It's like, we need to do this thing. We haven't got funding. We haven't got a venue. People haven't started buying tickets yet. But we just knew we had to go with this thing. And just literally saying, so we get that the circumstances don't seem favorable. But that's fine. That's what it is. The vision's there.
It's there.
Alright, so let's just take some actions. Let's go.
Bring it alive.
And then now all of a sudden, it's happening tomorrow. Venue's there, people buying tickets, speaker lineup is there. We're getting super excited about it, and it's making a difference.
Beautiful. And one of the reasons why that is, I'm sure, is because people actually want to come out and help these kids, but they don't know where to go. They don't know who to speak to. They don't know who that can direct them or help them utilize their talents. And one thing you said just now, you have to appreciate being alive. That's what we're trying to impact on the children, on the youth. I call them children because, you know, as an old woman, I have the right to do that, you understand? But that's what we're trying to impact on the youth. So talking about tomorrow's events, can you take us through what's going to happen? What's going, the whole itinerary of what's going to happen in there?
Yeah, so itinerary, so we open the doors at 11:30, so 11:30 till 12. Welcome, registration, how are you doing? Nice to meet you. And then from 12 to a few minutes past, just sharing the vision with people. Like, this is why we're here. This is what it's about. And there's more than this. So tomorrow, for example, the venue we have is just 100+ people. But the vision is 1,000.
It's 1,000.
So we're building up to something. So we'll share that tomorrow, and then we'll do a little icebreaker. And then we have talks and speakers. And so there'll be people that are speaking during the day, and then we're going to have workshops to delve into different things, to delve into mindset, to delve into dealing with peer pressure, to deal with how do you get around social media, not being crippled by social media, by the images that people put out there.
Absolutely,
like living their best life, but they're actually not living their best life.
Yeah,
so all of that.
People actually borrow things.
Yeah.
There's so many things. I have to tell you, and in a way, it's kind of sad because this is what the youth are saying. They don't see that aspect. Okay, there's a funny story that happened a couple of weeks ago. I was reading online social media. I'm a Facebook fanatic, and there's this, I think, an actor that said he's always traveling, and they found out that he's actually photoshopping all his pictures on social media. Wow. Can you believe that? But have you seen how many people that is really made depressed? People that think, oh, this is a kind of life, and they've gone out there, you know, to try and emulate him. So I'm happy you brought that one up. But if you can elaborate further, you know, about what's going to happen there tomorrow.
What's so special about our event, and I think that's a blessing, is that it's in a VR reality place as well. So
reality.
That's right.
Virtual reality. So you have opportunity for them to play games and have fun. So this is not a conference. This is actually a place for them to be young, be safe in an environment. And as we look on to bigger events, we will kind of bring in more fun, more sports. But tomorrow we've happened to have a venue that has that fun aspect to it as well. So you'll see them relax. You see them just forget about life and just be inspired and also have fun as a whole. So I think that's very important, that it's not a fully serious thing. This is a fun thing for them to learn and grow as well. So I think that's very important.
Fascinating, fascinating. I might just pop into
You should come along.
No, it's not just you guys that should be having fun. You know, we all BDs want to be there as well. So
do you know, we've actually had like quite a lot of older women say, our children are old now, but we're going to come along anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually happened quite a bit.
Yeah.
And
we've seen a lot of like mothers who really want to bring their sons and things like that. So it seems that there is a really big need for this, and there is a demand for it as well. So I think we have been able to tap into that, and we'll continue to build around that. But
I think as well, it's like it's for them, like it's in service for them. So ultimately, like, it's not really about us.
It's about the youth. Families.
Like, it's about the future legacy.
Not
Not for us as a legacy, but fast forward 50 years, 60 years, 80 years. We're probably not going to be right there.
I might be.
80 years, okay.
Well, I'll try.
So it's really for them. It's really that they can, that the mothers can be served. Because we've had so many calls this week from mums just saying, my son's 18, this is what's going on. Can I bring my 10-year-old? Can I bring my 11-year-old? And
So what do you think they'll come and gain from the whole thing, the whole event? What exactly, if someone with troubled youth, for example, if they come in there, what do you think they can take out, and how do you think they can be able to approach you and ask for help? Should
and to have people that can mentor them afterwards. So there'll be so many things they'll get from tomorrow, and also to have fun and to meet Tosi and myself and
because I think there's some things that most of the narrative is Snapchat, YouTube, TV, and this is like a real life short bracket of what can be done and what we are also there as examples of people that care about them and people who forge things ahead. So I think that's one really good thing. And there's hopefully we're going to have programs or attach them to different networks as we go along. So I think when you have a place where they can find out more or where to go for help and things like that. So it's going to have a follow-on aspect as well.
Beautiful. My name is Toyin Morafa and you're watching Voice of the Voiceless. And do you know it's things like this that make me happy? Because I knew that all I had to do was take time and be able to go out. And it's either people come to see us or will go and see people, because these are the type of positive stories that we want our own media to bring out. We want these kids to see. We want them to be able to utilize their talent. And these two distinguished gentlemen, I think, are doing a lot, to make sure that this happen. So saying that, I'm just a bit interested about your history, how you guys met.
Oh wow.
And the reason why I want to put that there is because I want youth to be able to go. I have a feeling we'll be able to hear a lot of scandalous secrets tonight, but we'll get there very soon. But one of the reasons why I want to highlight it is I want kids, when they go into school, I want them to be able to choose their own friend, to be able to look into the future and think in 10 years down the line, is this someone that I can start a business with? Or, you understand, or is this someone that will have a positive impact on me? So, I'll
go for this one.
Yeah.
We went to a business networking event in
a workshop
in Holiday Inn in Stratford, and I walked in. This guy did a presentation. He just launched his book, and then right at the end there was maybe like some of us were still talking, and I was talking about my clothing brand, Get Hench, and I was talking about like, look, we've got this hoodie, and the hoodie's £40, and someone goes, £40 for your hoodie? I'm not paying that. It was this guy, and it was basically dissing my brand and dissing my hoodie, and in my head I was thinking, if I wasn't a Christian, I'd absolutely attack him right now. And then, if I could be honest, so on a day, he actually got on my nerves. He actually really got on my nerves. I was like, who is this guy? He doesn't know me from anywhere, and he's cussing my company. But then, as you continue to speak, I got to know him, and I got to get his vision. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, right.
Maybe he's actually not a bad guy. Right. Okay, maybe he's alright. And actually on that day, it was me, Tosin and two other people.
Right.
We actually said, right, we're going to set up a company today called Kingdom Inc. As in like the Kingdom of God Incorporated.
Yeah.
So actually about going into the world and actually doing something. So that's how we met. When was this? When did we meet? What was this?
Probably about 4 or 5 years ago.
I think it was longer than that,
Yeah. So, and like he's brought me into networks where I've actually been more empowered. So it's been a really good challenging friendship that we've had.
We do challenge each other.
Yeah, and we get each other's nerves.
We do, because iron sharpens iron. Like it's not supposed to be comfortable when iron sharpens iron.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's very
but
true.
we grow. We grow. Yeah.
And you can see how close you guys are. And not only, wow.
And his sister worked in my church. I worked in the same department in church as his sister.
I didn't even know that until a while afterwards. Like, oh, okay. We know people.
I know someone you know.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fantastic. This is wonderful. But most importantly, this is uplifting. We're going to go on a very short break now. Don't go away. When we come back, we'll be talking about the program tomorrow, and we're going to go in depth about what the whole thing constitutes for. So please stay tuned. We'll be back very soon.
Heritage Television. Promoting African culture and heritage at its best. From talk shows that concern you to both local and international news that relates to you. From grassroots football to African children's programs. Heritage Television. We cover your social and special events like weddings, birthdays, church anniversaries, and so on, and broadcast them live on our apps and online. Heritage Television, broadcasting everything about culture and heritage. Heritage Television. We've got it covered. Do download our apps on both Android, iOS, and Windows mobile platform. Heritage Television, your very own TV station.
The warning signs may vary, but the devastating effects are the same. And And unfortunately, you need to be prepared for the worst. If you were ever to find yourself in the middle of an active shooter event, your survival may depend on whether or not you have a plan. The plan doesn't have to be complicated. There are 3 things you could do that make a difference. Run, hide, fight. First and foremost, if you can get out, do. Always try and escape or evacuate, even when others insist on staying. Encourage others to leave with you, but don't let them slow you down with indecision. Remember what's important, you, not your stuff. Leave your belongings behind and try to find a way to get out safely. Trying to get yourself out of harm's way needs to be your #1 priority. Once you are out of the line of fire, try to prevent others from walking into the danger zone and call 911. If you can't get out safely, you need to find a place to hide. Act quickly and quietly. Try to secure your hiding place the best you can. Turn out lights, and if possible, remember to lock doors. Silence your ringer and vibration mode on your cell phone. And if you can't find a safe room or closet, try to conceal yourself behind large objects that may protect you. Do your best to remain quiet and calm. As a last resort, if your life is at risk, whether you are alone or working together as a group, fight. Act with aggression. Improvise weapons. Disarm him. And commit to taking the shooter down, no matter what. Try to be aware of your environment. Always have an exit plan. Know that in an incident like this, victims are generally chosen randomly. The event is unpredictable and may evolve quickly. The first responders on the scene are not there to evacuate or tend to the injured. They are well trained and are
my daughter-in-law. So how are you planning for my son's birthday? No, I have to cook up for her. Do you people have ogirisi there? No. It's okay. Okay, let me call you back. Mama Chiji, okay. Hi, so wait a market. Please pack some ogirisi. I am going to visit my son. My daughter-in-law, it's arranged, but you must use original red oil to prepare the soup. What? I'll call you back. Mama Chijo, please include Isio Morocco, my daughter-in-law. Everything is set, but don't forget that gold wristwatch I saw the last time I visited her.
Now you can talk until you tire for just 11 kobo per second. Call all networks in Nigeria and 30 international destinations, including US, UK, China, Canada, and India for just 11 kobo per second. Dial *211# to activate.
That's Silk Boo-Boo.
The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data.
Hello once again. We're still here, Voice of the Voiceless. My name is Toyin Morafa, and we've got two distinguished gentlemen with me. We've got Mr. Ademola Adeyeba here, and we've also got Mr. Tosin Ogundere, and they've just been here. There's a lot of things I didn't know that I'm learning every day. And like I always say to people, learn every day. That's part of the beauty of life. You have to see what's happening. Now, you know the flyer that we've just shown now. On it says 1,000 Black Boys is a day of inspiration with the goal of connecting with black boys and young black men. It's also a place for you to be inspired and get tools to overcome your challenges and kickstart your bright future. How did you come by this name, 1,000 Black Boys? Wow. How did that happen?
So yeah, again, honest answer, I was talking to a colleague of mine outside work. Something just happened with his cousin in his cousin's school in South London, and his cousin lives in Hackney, so it's almost kind of like had that kind of you're not from the area sort of conversation. And I just advising him about how to approach it. And prior to that time, my nephew had something happen to him in school where someone said to him, "You're going to die," a couple of times, and he's 11, and they were chasing him, or this person was chasing him. And then the conclusion, I said, rather than getting angry, ask to speak with that boy and his parents, with your cousin, you and his parents. Just have a conversation, family to family, to get it resolved, like we would do normally. Just have a conversation to get it resolved. And as we just talk, I said, you know what, I'm going to do this event. It's going to be in March, and it's going to be just to inspire young black men. And it was like, well, what are you going to call it? And literally, I might say from nowhere, we're just like 1,000 Black Boys.
1,000 Black Boys.
Like it was just like, bam, just came out.
Wow.
And like I said, I'm a spiritual person. That was the Holy Spirit just saying, this is the name, call it this name.
Call the name, exactly.
So it wasn't anywhere in my thinking prior to the words just came out of my mouth. And that's where that's where we got the name from.
Amazing. That's what we say. Once you've got talents, please don't kill it. Please don't let it burn out. Don't take it to the grave with you. Please, this youth, they need it. They really, really do need this. Now, talking about tomorrow's event, can you tell us that, when I say itinerary, I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. Are there people that will be speaking? What are they going to be talking about? What if I'm going to come in now, because I'll probably be there, be very nosy. What should I expect?
Like we said, we've got 10 speakers arranged. We've got one of them whose story is actually called From Detention to Distinction. And this speaker has actually he's done all this, but now he works with young people and he empowers them. So this is really one of the ones that...
So was he like in a gang before?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. He lived that life and that. So I think sometimes there is a mix of speakers. And like Ali said, we have business people who've actually gone really far. We've got people who... So it's really a lot of workshops. And I think in the workshops, that's where a lot of work is going to be done.
Exactly.
So people can talk about their experiences. They can ask questions, they can work on achieving a goal together. So I think we're not just coming to speak to them tomorrow, we're actually kind of we're going to be listening to them as well, and finding out what do they need, what's working for them, what problem. So it's going to be really interactive for everyone tomorrow. I hope that's...
Oh, beautiful.
And just to add as well, there's a point, so based on the calls that we've had this week on our phones,
Is this from the mothers, or is it from like diverse people?
It's been mainly, I'd say probably about 90% have been mothers.
Right.
This week, the early part of this week was mainly mothers calling, and you can hear the concern in the voice. And somebody actually asked, would there be an opportunity for my son to just talk with someone on a day? And so from that, we've just created it could be one-to-one sessions, so mother, son, and a mentor.
Right.
Or it could be a group of mothers and a group of sons just talking with someone who can actually discuss specific challenges and specific issues. So that's what we also have planned as well.
Oh, absolutely. I'll urge you guys to go out to be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's going to take place in Croydon. And we all know about the escalating violence in Croydon as well. We need to do everything we can to help these young ones. You know, some of them don't want to be helped. Those ones you can't do anything about. Or there's some of them crying out there, and there's a lot of mothers. People normally blame the mothers, but judging from this conversation we're having, I can say that there's a lot of mothers that really need help, and they're crying out, you know, and they're trying to appeal, you know, to the public to help them. In this situation now, because you guys are positive mentors, you understand, there's a way you got there. You didn't just wake up in the morning and thought, you know, I'm a mentor. You had to go through a lot of hard work. You understand, you had to do a lot of things. Maybe you did a bit of reading. Can you please share what you did with the viewers, so that at least if somebody's aiming or aspiring to be like you, they'll know which path to go through?
Right. I mean, thank you for that. We're positive mentors.
I like that. Thank you.
Yes, you guys are.
How did it start? I mean, background. I'm one of 5 children.
Right.
So 4 sisters. I'm the only boy.
Oh, right.
Parents sent me to London at the age of 9.
Right. So you were born in Nigeria?
Yeah, born in Nigeria. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And Daddy said, I want an engineer, doctor, lawyer. And I said, engineer. Yeah, that's me. I'll take that one.
If you know Nigerian parents, you'll understand what he means.
I was like, yeah. I put my hand up for that one. Like, anything to do with blood? Like, no, not interested. Lawyer? No, please. Engineering? Yeah, cool. I can do stuff. So that's where it started. And so I grew up with my sister and my brother-in-law, who were very strict. And I used to think, I want to go out, man. They're like, no, you come home. And when people used to call the house, then there was a phase where girls started to call the house. And my brother, I'd be sat right there, and he sat here. The phone would ring, he'd pick up the phone. He's not here, and he'd hang up the phone. And I'm just right in front of him, like I'm thinking, I wonder who that was. So that gave me the background, and then, but as I grew up, I got to appreciate that. Certain things, because even at one point when I was 17, I actually ran away from home.
Oh.
Because for me, it was
restrictive.
It was restrictive. But then I remember there was one point where my uncle got involved in a conversation, and it was, do you want to go back home, or do you want to have your own place? And as a 17-year-old, I was like, my own place? That'd be amazing. But then just something inside me, I thought to myself, if I do that, me and my sister would never be close again, or not as close as we can be. So I made a choice to go back and live with her. So that gave me this place to now be honest about things. I could actually express things. I could actually talk about, well, when you do that, this gets restrictive, or this is what I see.
You were able to develop a bond.
Yeah, so allow me to have that conversation, and we have an incredible relationship with my sister. I've got my mother, and I've got my second mother. And then as I was growing up, I then found myself in the world of business, and then getting to work in sales. I got to get out of my skin, learn to communicate. I made lots of mistakes, but I got to learn from them really, really quickly. And I then got to discover that it's how I think. It's how I apply myself. So when I first started to work in sales, I was 19. I just left university after a year. I hated it because I wasn't ready for that university experience. And now I was working, I was getting paid. I was like, this is brilliant. And when I went for the interview, and they said, yeah, you've got the job. And I was like, do you need to see my qualifications? They were like, no. Do I need a degree? They were like, no degree. They're like, so what do I need to do? You need to make phone calls, or you need to like call people and speak with them. I thought to myself, that's just silly. I'll do that all day long. And I absolutely applied myself and went for it. and I just saw that I was progressing and I was doing really, really well, and I just discovered that nothing limits me apart from me.
That's true. That's true.
But not just like
in your mind.
knowing it, but actually discovering that if I didn't take that action, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And I got to see cause and effect for real. It was really amazing.
It was amazing.
So that's how it started.
Wow.
And like I was saying before, I've done lots of stuff on self-development that's really helped me to get out of my skin and to express my visions and to connect with people and to be vulnerable. It's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
fine. That's how we learn.
In your case, it's going to be a two-part question. The first thing I'm very fascinated with is, you know, your life as a young person's counselor, but I want to introduce what I call the church perspective.
Yeah.
With this, when we started this Project Home Off, that's another project that we're running with Voice of the Voiceless. One thing I've always said is, there was no way I'll do it without God being on my side. It had to be God first. Now, a lot of these youths don't have that, how do I put it? They don't have that, they've not got that ability. I won't say ability, but they didn't have, you know, the way we grew up. A lot of them, the ones spoken to about religion or other things. You know. So how did they have an impact in your life regarding you being where you are now?
You mean in religion? Oh, like, okay, in my
and
life.
how can religion motivate people or help people in bringing out, you know, their useful skill sets?
Okay. I think it's quite positive. So I'll talk about Christianity in my case, how that's affected my life.
Right.
I think I became a Christian at maybe about 7. So we would go to church on a Sunday and just do church. But I think at one point we had a Sunday school teacher who just was different. He was young, he was vibrant, he had a lot that was different, and we were opportune to have that experience. And I think at that point in time I made my decision for Christ. And I think going on to secondary school, I had a school father who wasn't a Christian when I got there. He was the Labour prefect, so I had all the privileges of the seniors when I was in my first year. And then
here or back home?
in Nigeria. So in context, I was born in Liverpool. I went back to Nigeria when I was 7. Finished. Sorry?
Liverpool?
Yeah. And
I'm a Liverpool fan, by the way. So we just
So going back to Nigeria, finished primary school, went to a military secondary school.
Right.
And I think there, my school father also became a Christian, but I already was a Christian at that time. And I was with the environment of people who were Christians as well, so that kind of really did help as well. And I think sometimes the decisions you make in life are kind of, when you have your Christian faith and you live that life, kind of, you never really know what you're doing, but looking back now, you see strategic steps that you make. And one thing I remember before I came back to the UK at 17, I had a dream, and it was like a kind of Daniel dream where you were in the palace and you were actually making things happen. And sometimes as a young person you don't know what that means, or you're not really sure about it. But I know my grandmother, who was a really great Christian, gave me a book around Daniel. And so when I came to the UK, I tried to find the book. So my faith has got me through the good times, and it's also got me through the bad times. So I don't believe that faith is actually one way, because there have been a lot of bad times where my faith has kept me, and where people around me have been there to support me. So I even think the journey that we're going on in terms of the 1,000 Black Boys, when Ade spoke to me, I looked back in my diary for my goals for this year, and I'd written 1,000 black men. So I believe in terms of purpose and destiny, it's around men. So working with the boys is just a further extension of working with men, because these boys are going to become men and also parents. So I think for me with faith, it's really about direction. And I've made mistakes, I've failed many times, and so it's not, there's forgiveness, but there's also purpose. So I think faith has helped me get to this point.
Oh, wonderful, fantastic. This is just so interesting. I think I must stay the whole night, if you guys don't mind. And I've still got so many questions that I'm still going to have to ask both of you. One thing while we've been talking that's been jumping out at me with regards to everything you've been doing is, I think maybe this is centered as well around mind development. How to develop the youth's mind, how to make it wider, how to be able to use their skill set. You understand? Have you got any plans in the future that can help them, that can realize this, or is this the only event you'll be doing now?
Thank you, great question. I mean, so for us, so just to clarify, so we're both Christians and we love Jesus Christ. And certainly for me, probably for my friend as well, we've got another friend that I have this debate with. I don't see Christianity as a religion. I see it as lived.
Right.
Like, it's what I do and who I'm being on Tuesday morning when somebody pushes me on a train.
Right.
And so
Would
tomorrow.
you push back out of curiosity?
Do you know when this happened?
Yeah.
Today, this guy he stood in the way, I kind of barged him a little bit, and I kind of catch myself, like, okay, relax, just relax, just take it easy. So yeah, sometimes.
Great answer.
And then so for tomorrow, so even though we're Christians, tomorrow is not a Christian thing.
Right.
That's why we deliberately haven't done in a church.
Right.
So we are taking the vision that we have out there into the world and to impact lives, regardless of their background or regardless of their faith.
Yeah.
We want to impact them so that they can get their purpose and get who they are. That's our assignment.
Yeah.
So that's just about tomorrow. Like, it's for everyone. To come and be inspired. And our goal afterwards. So tomorrow is building up to a bigger vision, and as we see it right now, we want to do. So after tomorrow, we want to be able to have mentors that we can refer the children to, or that we can say, these people are great people, reach out to them.
Right.
And then we're looking to have another event in Croydon in June, at some point in June. And then we want to do one in in Haringey, in Tottenham, probably in July.
So you're doing them in like socially deprived areas where they need it the most.
Absolutely. There's a demand for these things.
In those things, yeah.
Other people are doing things as well, so we're not the only ones.
And we want to do it together as well. If we see, so for us, this is not about, like I said, it's not about us. Like, hey, we're doing this. It's who shares the vision. Let's go.
True. Yeah.
And this, the thing that I'm really going by and we're really going by is this thing about, if you want to go fast, go by yourself.
Right.
So go alone.
Yeah.
So if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Go together.
So we want to go together with people that share the vision and that share the view with us.
Words, yeah.
And then after that, we also want to. The vision is August. We're not sure when in August. So imagine August 2019.
Right.
We have Anthony Joshua speaking. We have Akala speaking. We have Idris Elba speaking. We have Raheem Sterling speaking.
Oh.
And they're speaking and just inspiring 1,000 young black boys and black men in front of them. Yeah. So that's what we have planned for August. Do we know how to get hold of them? No, we don't. Do we know how it's going to happen? No, we don't. We just have this vision.
Yeah, we're throwing it out to the
if you know these guys, let us know.
Exactly.
We love the young ones.
Yeah. help them to help us.
Yes.
That's the way we can say. Yeah. One thing I wanted to talk about too is the visits you've been having in schools.
Yeah.
And how could you tell us about it and the impact it's been having? Maybe hopefully you get youth, from schools, maybe in Croydon or other places, being able to get inspired and train up tomorrow. Yeah,
I mean, so that's really my passion. So absolute passion. I've been to schools. I've got friends that are teachers. The first one I went to was Caterham High School in Barking. Went there, spoke at one of the awards evenings, and it was really great. These young people were being awarded and commended for what they'd done during the semester, during the course of the year. And I got to just inspire the room, and I absolutely love that. And then I said to them, give me your toughest, hardest pupils, the ones that the teachers can't handle. And I did a session with them that I normally do in business with corporates. And did like a session with them, and these children were so sharp. One of them got things quicker than business people that I've worked with before. Really? And I was like, oh my days. So these are the toughest, most hard to educate ones. They were so clever. Completely astounded me. But that's there, right? not that I didn't know that, but when I actually saw this person's like, yeah, this is this, I was like, whoa, unbelievable. And then I also went to go and speak at
so to cut you off, this question is for both of you, because what's always fascinated me is if you do see these youths, they always say, oh, the kind of dumb acts. I tend to disagree. Do you think they're intelligent? They're very intelligent, but their intelligence is of a different level, and the type of, you know, sometimes when you have like autistic kids, anybody could come. It's not like they're not brilliant, but anybody could come and exploit their vulnerability. Is that the case with these guys as well?
Do you mean in terms of how intelligent they are?
Yeah.
They're super intelligent.
Yeah.
It's just being given the opportunity to express that intelligence.
Right.
And also, what I see is, maybe this also speaks to, this is my stereotype, some parents might say that they only want engineers or doctors or lawyers, and that they're trying to force somebody who is actually passionate about boxing into being an engineer, or somebody who's really passionate about being a motor racing driver to go and study science, or somebody who's really an artist, or somebody who's into music, trying to get that person to be a doctor. And they might think, oh, but that's not a career, but actually
it is.
It's huge.
Like
the paradigm of what was success 60 years ago is shifted now. People can be overnight celebrities that can actually be bringing in lots and lots of revenue if that's the focus.
That's true.
In a couple of weeks, if the idea goes viral.
Yeah, that's true.
So the intelligence is completely there. I can talk about this all day. Very sharp people. Sharp, clever.
That's true. And what's your opinion as well? Because this has always been very fascinating to me.
I think what I've experienced as a counsellor and things like that, sometimes when boredom sometimes could lead to distraction.
That's true.
And then sometimes just that, and it might be what's being said or what's being does not appeal to them, or sometimes there is a level of discipline that they might lack in individually because
backwards. Because the system itself is 150 years old. It's a very old system. Where children sit in a classroom and they're being talked at by one person. I know they're trying to bring in more technology, but that was more training for the Industrial Revolution. For people to go work in factories. And then you're bringing that here today to these young people. And also, imagine this. Somebody goes through nursery, go through primary, secondary, college, university, and for most people they've now finished, so the graduates, maybe they've got about 30,000-40,000 pounds worth of debt. And then they might ask the question, well, what do I want to do with my life? It's thinking, what? You've gone through all of that for this? It should be the other way around.
And you might even finish the course and you might lose interest.
Exactly that.
There's so many things that happen,
So the vision, so imagine a school where literally you get to learn purpose. You get to discover purpose. That's the curriculum. So rather than giving people answers to questions, it's a case of, well, we're going to ask you a series of questions and then you have to ponder it for the semester and come up with answers. That would just open up so many things. I think that might be the way to go. Controversial for some people, I think.
No, fascinating for me. Fascinating, because one of the things we're doing as a project is we're actually turning tailored curriculums into online interactive classrooms for these people.
Good stuff, okay.
Yeah. So, for example, I'm working with my cousin now, Toyin Morafa. He's the CEO of Morafa, which is like a big fashion design. What's it called? Back home, and I think he's got one in in America as well. Those are the type of things we're doing. Is in the process of creating, making you into a fashion designer, and working with the mother as well. That's shown me a lot of things. I never knew you could use a sewing machine. There's some sewing machines you can use without electricity. For me, it was mind blowing.
Okay.
I'm telling you, for other people, they knew before. So those are the things we're trying to do. And we've got somebody that is trying to turn like SIA, this SIA and clothes protection into curriculums. So where you're going,
SIA is that security. Okay.
That's the one. They're trying to turn into a curriculum as well, where they can sit
Sure.
there and learn from
Yeah.
home. So like basic things, all these things they're learning in school, we're trying to tailor it and try and see how it can become home study or a community study. But today is not about the project, it's about 1,000 black men. It's just sometimes it's good to see that we're talking to people that have got similar views, similar visions, similar passions. Yeah, and I think we'll be running up very shortly. But before we do that, I want both of you to, sit down and tell us about tomorrow's events as well.
Sure.
I think you have to book your tickets on Eventbrite.
Yeah, I mean, the best place to do it is to go to Eventbrite. So it's literally the 3 W's, and it's 1000blackboys.eventbrite.co.uk. So that's 1000blackboys.eventbrite.co.uk.
We'll show it on the platform.
Yeah, that'd be great. Because basically, people, you probably. So we think they're going to be sold out. So the venue tomorrow is only 100 plus, and we've sold so many tickets already that we're advising people to buy tickets before showing up on a day.
Right.
So there might still be availability in the morning when you turn up. There might be, but we're just not sure. So we're saying just to be on the safe side and to not be disappointed, especially if you're coming along with a young one. To literally buy your ticket before you get there tomorrow. That'd be the best thing to do.
So how can they? Is it just Eventbrite? Do they need to type in anything before it brings it up?
Or you can go to Eventbrite and just type in 1,000 black boys.
Yeah.
And
there it goes.
And search for it.
There you go. So it's about, is it like virtual reality, like you said? How is that going to, work?
I'm going
to mean tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, the building on top has a game area where they'll play, and then at the bottom that's where we have our event.
So I went downstairs and just literally the place is like Tosin was saying, so
the boys can have some play things and just enjoy.
Me, I'm coming for the virtual.
Okay.
You got to pay for that though. That's not part of it. You got to pay for that part. But and also downstairs, the owner, who's been great by the way. He's been a godsend. He's given us access to play PlayStation downstairs on one of the breaks, but people can we're gonna have like a half an hour break. Maybe they can quickly go and do some VR upstairs. At that time.
Yeah, because we have to make it fun. We have to make it worthwhile for them. So I think it's gonna be a good day.
Absolutely. Oh, this is wonderful. These are the type of stories we love to hear. These are the type of stories we need to talk about. If we're trying to challenge the stereotype that the mainstream media has been showing our community, these are the things we need to take out. These are 2 positive mentors that I think our youth can look up to. So I will greatly advise people to go there tomorrow. Is the venue on there? Where's the venue?
The venue is Limitless VR.
Yeah.
It's on Croydon High Street.
79 Croydon.
Yeah. 79 High Street, Croydon. And it's literally next to Croydon Library. So it's not too far from the library.
Right.
And it's on the high street.
It's on the high street.
Yeah.
All right. So I will urge anybody, whether you've got trouble youth or not, as long as you've got a child that you think is going to be inquisitive, you really want them to have to be able to use their skill set, to be able to use it the right way, I'll advise for people to go there as well. And please support our black businesses. You've got your Get Hench here. This is the CEO and founder. You understand? Please, this is what we need. We need to support people like this so they can in turn support the youth. We've got our project manager here. He's going into good things as well. So thank you very much for tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It's been a really fantastic.
Thank you.
It has been. It's been an eye opener. It's a shame we could talk about this the whole night, but unfortunately, I know you guys have things to do. That's the main thing. Your final, talk with the guys before we round up.
bring your black boys, let's empower them, let's strengthen them, let's kind of give them something to be excited and happy about.
Right.
Let's just say, this is what we're doing as black people. We're doing things differently.
Exactly.
We're actually investing in our own community, in our sons, so that the newspapers don't keep on saying another one dead. We're saying we're doing this for you. We're kind of taking the time to build these networks so that we can empower all the young boys and make them black men that will raise great black boys.
Right, yeah, and raise good black families, that will be positive mentors for the up and coming generations. This has been Voice of the Voiceless. My name is Toyin Morafa. This has been a special edition because of what's going to happen tomorrow. So hopefully, I hope you people can get there and be able to get and get as much information, positive information as you need. Once again, thank you very much, Tosin. Thank you very much, Mr. Demola. We'll definitely invite you guys back after this event.
We look forward to it.
Come back, and tell us how it went.
We can debrief.
Yeah. And how good and bad I was at virtual reality. All right, people. Have a good night.
Have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
God bless you.
The warning signs may vary, but the devastating effects are the same. And unfortunately, you need to be prepared for the worst. If you were ever to find yourself in the middle of an active shooter event, your survival may depend on whether or not you have a plan. The plan doesn't have to be complicated. There are 3 things you could do that make a difference. Run, hide, fight. First and foremost, if you can get out, do. Always try and escape or evacuate, even when others insist on staying. Encourage others to leave with you, but don't let them slow you down with indecision. Remember what's important, you, not your stuff. Leave your belongings behind and try to find a way to get out safely. Trying to get yourself out of harm's way needs to be your #1 priority. Once you are out of the line of fire, try to prevent others from walking into the danger zone and call 911. If you can't get out safely, you need to find a place to hide. Act quickly and quietly. Try to secure your hiding place the best you can. Turn out lights, and if possible, remember to lock doors. Silence your ringer and vibration mode on your cell phone. And if you can't find a safe room or closet, try to conceal yourself behind large objects that may protect you. Do your best to remain quiet and calm. As a last resort, if your life is at risk, whether you are alone or working together as a group, fight. Act with aggression. Improvise weapons. Disarm him. And commit to taking the shooter down, no matter what. try to be aware of your environment. Always have an exit plan. Know that in an incident like this, victims are generally chosen randomly. The event is unpredictable.
Tolu A. Akinyemi, a renowned poet, author, and a metrical masterpiece which invokes love and respect for life. Dead Cats Don't Meow is his first published work and third collection in his poetry for the Discerning series after Dead Lions Don't Roar and Dead Dogs Don't Bark. Tolu shares his gift of writing with people far and wide. Recently, he received an endorsement as a writer with exceptional talent from the Arts Council England. Each poem examines a part of life, a sensation, a reaction, or an emotion. Individually, the verses breathe their own beat, while the collection knits together perfectly to present an idyllic anthology. Dead Cats Don't Meow is written to help you find your own voice in a world with a cacophony of voices. Join Tolu A. Akinyemi at one of the 4 events to celebrate the launch of Dead Cats Don't Meow. Thursday, April 4, 2019, 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at the Poetry Cafe, the Poetry Society, 22 Betterton Street, Covent Garden, London. Saturday, April 13th, 2019, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Museum Center Function Room 8 and 9 Marina Road, Onikan, Lagos, Nigeria. Thursday, May 2, 2019, 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. The Lead and Feel, 23 Westgate Road, Newcastle upon Tyne. Thursday, May 9, 2019, 5:45 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. The Avenue Library and Learning Center, 9 Victoria Avenue East, Blackley, Manchester. RSVP, tolutoludo.com. Dead Cats Don't Meow is available at Waterstones, Barnes & Noble, eBay, Amazon, Patabar, and other outlets.
Heritage Television. Promoting African culture and heritage at its best. From talk shows that concern you to both local and international news that relates to you. From grassroots football to African children's programs. Heritage Television. We cover your social and special events like weddings, birthdays, church anniversaries, and so on, and broadcast them live on our apps and online. Heritage Television, broadcasting everything about culture and heritage. Heritage Television. We've got it covered. Do download our apps on both Android, iOS, and Windows mobile platform. Heritage Television, your very own TV station.
My daughter-in-law, so how are you planning